So, welcome everybody. Let's get going. The first item we got on the agenda is the Civic Awards. And so far, as you know, we've had two nominations, one from Dusty. We don't make the names public because obviously it's not a case of winners and losers. The next step is I'm going to speak to Sue Seven, the town clerk, about that and take it to the next step. We're not on much of a time deadline. We've got to remake the decision by the end of November. So I'll report back to you at the next meeting. Let's go on to the Festival of Light. Linda, please tell us where we are on the Festival of Light and what's happening.
I've attended the last two meetings. Everything's much the same as last year, or the arrangements. I've said that we will do much the same as last year. We'll provide marshals to keep the roads safe. I put out a request last week for marshals, and I think I had 19 people. I was looking for 18. I had 19, but we will have people drop out and we will have additions. So it's in hand. Okay, so for the moment, really, there's no further action. We're coming down to the November deadline, and assuming nobody drops out, you've got it all covered. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll just ask if there's anyone else who wants to.
Excellent, thank you. And there'll probably be one or two meetings that you go to at the town hall before then. Yeah, good. Okay, thanks very much. Right, let's move on to Seniors Out, which is fairly topical because it only happened yesterday. So, Jim, over to you as the mastermind of that one.
Right, well, it all went, I think, pretty well, apart from the weather, which could have been better. But luckily, the really heavy rain, we were on board the boat, which was covered. We took, in the end, a few dropped out at the last minute for different reasons, but we ended up taking a party of 28 for a trip along the canal from Apsley down to around about the Hunton Bridge area, where we were met by the fish and chip shop, who delivered the fish and chip lunch. And they all seemed to enjoy it, and then we headed back, and there was a tremendous downpour just as we were getting back, which luckily stopped almost the moment we unboarded the boat. All seemed to go very well. Linda, would you like to add any comments to?
Maybe next year they could make the kitchen bigger.
Yes.
It's about 2 foot by 2 foot.
Yes, it was tiny.
There wasn't too much that you had to do, cooking-wise, was there?
No, we didn't do the cooking. We just made tea
and
coffee and biscuits. But Rachel Frank was very organised with us anyway. But no, I enjoyed the day, and people were very grateful. I think about just being a nurse have just maybe helped you just preempt what people actually, when they drop their walking stick. And, I'm just quite aware of people's physical disabilities.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
what sort of ages did you have?
I think the eldest was something like 96 or something like that.
Goodness.
They're going down... some of them were actually helpers of Happy Wanderers, but just about all of them made the age criteria anyway. And one Happy Wanderer, which is a group for elderly, brought her husband, who was the same sort of age. So there were a few others apart from the Happy Wanderers group, but they were all of a good age.
No difficulty getting onto the boat or anything.
They've got a lift.
Access.
They had a lift, which they could cope with wheelchairs, but we didn't actually have anybody on a wheelchair. We had one lady on a walking frame, and they coped with that very well. Clearly, very well geared up to dealing with elderly groups. So
we have to be congratulated on it. Obviously, a good trip. Well worthwhile.
Yeah, well chosen.
Everybody said how nice it was and how grateful they were to the Rotary Club for providing the funds.
Excellent.
That's great. Yeah. Oh well, thank you very much, Jim. That was a big
next
success.
year. I was thinking we had a presentation from what's it called? The place that's outside Luton Hoo. Yeah. And the Luton Hoo gardens that were attached to the house, and there are separate gardens that have visiting parties and do teas and things. So I thought maybe worth looking at that for next year.
Sounds like a really good idea.
We had a representative talking to us.
That's right. Yes, they talked to us.
They did.
She collared me afterwards because she knew I was involved with these seniors out. Said you could come here, Yeah, come to Luton.
Well, when she came here, she handed out leaflets, and I've still got one.
So it might be an option, but we'll look at other options.
Great. Well, obviously a lot of satisfied customers there. Well done. Thank you to that team. Let's go on to Kids Out if we can, Brian, please.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Well, as I think you all know, it's part of the service commitment that we have to take part in the annual Kids Out initiative, which is a nationwide event. And so in mid-June, as part of the District 1260, we took, I think it was 10 severely handicapped children to Whipsnade Zoo. They come from a special school in the local area, and they come with a number of their staff. But we assist in taking them around the zoo, in pushing wheelchairs and doing anything else that's necessary. This is an all-day event, and we provide lunch for them during the course of the day. The highlight, I think, probably is a steam train ride, which both the children, the carers, and I think the Rotarians all enjoy. And we hope to be included in this initiative in the future, which, as I say, is likely to take place in mid-June of 2024.
So from what you say, Brian, the formula that we have and that you implemented was what they wanted. All went smoothly?
It did. It just needs a liaison with the local school, telling them well in advance when it is and making sure that they're prepared, because as a special school, they can't instantly turn things off.
Right.
Do we do it in association with any other club?
Not with any other club. We do it in association with the district. And
So it's very much
this year
district.
there were about, I don't know, 8 or 9 other clubs there.
Good, thank you very much, Brian. So let's move on to the charities now, everybody. Obviously a major part of this committee's responsibility. And fairly topically, Afghan refugees. Linda, over to you, please.
Well, we had a request from Kate Scott, who's trustee and convener of Decorum Hearts Welcome Refugees, and we provided £500 to help them. The refugees are leaving hotels and going into other accommodation now. I'm not sure what accommodation, but Kate's organisation helps with this, and we had a request for £500 to spend on things they needed, like household goods, vacuum cleaner, dustpan and brush, and similar. And these were ordered, I ordered these at Argos, and they were collected by one of their charities, volunteers, and distributed. I did offer to distribute, to take them, but for security reasons, the charity has to do it. That has to be one of their volunteers. So I could do no more than just order the goods and pay for them. But they got to where they were supposed to go, and Kate thanked us. And everyone was very pleased, I think.
Great, thank you, Linda. Well, thank you for making it happen on behalf of the committee and the club. Just to explain to anybody, if you weren't aware with the issue, District have made £500 per club available for support of the Afghans in whatever role is needed. And we had to fill in an application form. We had to name the families, which came from Kate, and she named what they wanted. And so, anyway, we will claim the £500 back, and we have supported some refugees. We know their names, but we never meet them.
I think I did ask what I could know, and she said I can tell you there are 11 households, but
Right.
that doesn't mean in a household they were from the same family. I think some people have been sharing.
Right. Okay, well, it was very nice. I think we should be pleased to have been able to do something for the Afghans. We have supported the Ukrainian support group already, but it's nice to help the Afghans in that way. Thank you very much, Linda, for handling that. We'll go to Dusty. Dusty, you're the liaison with the Stroke Association. Can you update us on the situation there, please?
Certainly, it's really my wife's initiatives. They have a particular necessity, which is some of them can't walk and some of them can't action. As you know, stroke can be a very debilitating status. And they need a coach, and the coach has to be one that they can have wheelchairs go up. So it's become suddenly expensive, and everything else is expensive. They've just had a trip, and it went very well, and very grateful for us. And I hope we'll be able to support them again next year. They're thinking of something like a trip down to London, possibly to Canary Wharf, somewhere like that. Something that's going to be wide, high, and thrilling for them, and out of their normal circuit. So that's ongoing for next year, and I think they're very grateful to our help. The other clubs around have folded, and this is the one club in Berkhamsted that people come from a long way away. Aylesbury is...
Oh, right.
And excellent.
Thank you very much, Dusty. Well, it's nice that we can do something for these guys, and in round numbers, we're talking about £1,000 for the transport, aren't we? By next year, that'll be. So I will put in an application to the club for that budget in advance of the normal charity grants that we make next year. So it's been a good relationship, and thanks to Brenda for introducing us. Dusty, on the basis that you're also the contact for this particular charity, can you just give us a quick rundown on the almshouses, please?
Yeah, it was it's an interesting little charity. I didn't know very much about it. The almshouses sit in the town. They look interesting. John Sawyer on the side and go back a long way. And we were coming back from town and lots of signs on. We're going to have an open day. And this is 9:30, starting at 10. Well, the gate was open. And we put our noses through as only we can. And we were welcomed in. And Hilary is the daughter of somebody I've known for many years, a Rotarian, ex-Rotarian. And we were made very welcome. We had a good tour around. They have 6 flats, if you like, 2 of which are needing a lot of work on them to come up to the standard. Because they're ancient buildings, they have to use ancient materials like oak, and suddenly the cost just goes up through the window. Right. But they're very welcome to any funds we can get. Hilary is a wonderful organiser. She is an engineer by trade, and she's managed massive projects for the American companies. Delightful person, and any support we glad. She wants to come and talk to us as well. So that's in the future. The contacts have been made with our speaker finder, and hopefully you will have a talk.
Interesting.
How do they choose the residents?
This is sort of question that we didn't get a chance to ask.
Okay.
I think they're all ladies, but I can't be absolutely certain of that. They have to have, there is a piece of paper that says they have to have some sort of association with the church. And John Sawyer, who was the chef to the King Henry, so that's his claim to fame, and obviously he made some money doing exactly that. Not poisoning the king, which sounds like a good deal.
Okay, well, thanks, Dusty. We'll certainly put this charity on our list. I think it'll be, sometimes these things are debated in the club, and I think the club may debate the priority of people over property, but nevertheless, I think it's right that we should put it on our shortlist, isn't it?
Yes.
Everybody happy about that?
Often it's good to hear from have a presentation from them first before you make any firm decisions.
Yeah, good idea. And I think they'll be talking about a lot of money, so they'll be going to clubs like ours for small donations. They'll probably try to get a major funder from somewhere.
That is the direction they're going.
Yes.
You're quite right in that respect.
Are they empty at the moment, those?
No, I think 4 are occupied and 2 are not.
Because they need
They needed rebuilding from the inside out.
And the other new application we've had from a charity is the Toy Hub, which came through to me this morning. And they are raising funds for children in need, not the formal charity, but local children in need, with a view to Christmas. And they've asked if we would like to make a contribution to their fund this year. Anybody got any feelings one way or another?
What's their distribution area?
That's a good question, and I will investigate that, having only heard from them this morning.
That's again the sort of situation where they present their case to us as come as a speaker. It gives you a clearer idea of
It does.
whether it's worthwhile cause.
You're absolutely right, Jim.
And of course, all these worthwhile charities are in competition with each other as far as we're concerned. If we had unlimited money, we'd like to help everybody, but there does have to be some sort of decision-making process, but they will certainly go on the list. I will find out more information about the Toy Hub. I will maybe have a meeting with the lady who contacted me, and I'll report back to the next meeting. And then we'll make a decision in principle, and if we want to go ahead, then of course we'll have to go to the council for the money, because this will have to happen before the usual end-of-year charity budget clear out. So those are the main things, folks. I will just wrap up with a summary of all the donations and charity meetings I've had recently that you all know about. They've all happened very recently, and just reporting back on them really. Of course, the Berkhamsted String and Train Stroke Association was one of them, which Dusty's covered. Play Skill is a major charity for us every year. They have support groups for families where there are young children who are physically handicapped. They do a great job. We've supported them for a long time. They're very, very grateful, and they were determined to give us a picture to put on our social media of all of them and say thank you. So they're very pleased. We've been to Dens, and this year we gave Dens money for what they call their holiday hunger campaign. When the school holidays come, kids from disadvantaged families suddenly don't get a decent meal every day. And so the food bank has an extra dimension, which is providing food for the kids who rely on school food normally. So they were very pleased, very grateful there. I've also been to the Chiltern Neuro Centre. It always used to be called the MS Centre. And that's where Robert Breakwell was CEO for a long time before he retired. So we gave them some money. Very impressive, very well organised there. Very good facility. They were pleased to show us around. Hearts Young Homeless. The name tells you exactly what they do. They do have a small residential accommodation of their own, but generally speaking, they are supporting homeless people who live, well, some of them don't live at home, but they support homeless people in whatever accommodation they have at the moment. And so they would, for instance, they would give support to young people in a hostel like Dens. So they have roving mentors. Very quickly, other ones, Open Door, we've given some money to Open Door, they were very pleased. The Ukraine Support Group, we actually donate via Open Door because they sponsor them. One Impossible Thing is the unlikely charity that we have. I say it's unlikely because it's the only one I've heard of, which is for recycling trainers. And so all the sports groups and all the sports centres where people are chucking away their trainers, they are being reprocessed and they're being given to homeless and disadvantaged people in the town. That's great. Acro.
Where's that based?
Basically, the lady who runs it is based in Hemel.
Oh.
And there are, in fact, photos of her on our social media, along with samples of the product. So that's a very small charity, her personal initiative, and we're very pleased to support her for the second year. Hacro, support for our ex-offenders. We've given to their small grants, a small grants fund, which is average donation to people there is £50, the maximum is £100. And these are for critical moments in ex-offenders' early release days. I won't bore you with the problems that ex-offenders have, particularly if they don't have homes to go to, but they are massive. And HACRO is dedicated to preventing reoffending by rehabilitating ex-offenders and getting them back into the community. Finally, Berkhamsted Scouts, they support us when we need help with things like fireworks. We support them. And Jim actually presented that on behalf of the club and via the youth campaign. So that brings us to the end of the agenda. Any other thoughts or questions, please? Okay.
I don't think I know too much about One Impossible Thing, but one thing does occur to me as a regular member of the local tennis club. There must be an awful lot of trainers that have jettisoned, and nobody has ever said to me, well, could that club do anything? Because we're talking about 1,000 members, including juniors. So,
well, the way they work is they put bins in sports centres and clubs, and clearly they haven't got to Burko Club.
Perhaps that could be mentioned too.
Oh, absolutely, So, you have your bin there, and when you're fed up with your trainers, you dump them in, and they go to somebody who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford such classy ones.
Yeah, it seems a very good idea.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that idea, Brian. Okay, on to the next meeting. The topics will be progressed to the next meeting. The only thing different is I won't be at the next meeting, but Brian has kindly offered to chair it. So if there's any particular agenda items you want put onto the next meeting in 3 weeks' time, please let Brian know, and have a good meeting. And thank you very much for this evening's discussion.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.